It's happening. Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, said that any immigrant criticizing Charlie Kirk, their visas will be taken back. They will be removed from this country. We've got the Vice President of the United States yesterday or 2 days ago telling American citizens to contact the employers of everyone who criticizes Charlie Kirk. Look, you know how I feel about Trump. He's an idiot. He doesn't understand free speech. But the people around him are using the powers of government to try to silence their political opponents. This is really scary, un-American stuff, and it needs to be called out.
Now, let us talk to, well, a player, an activist on the other side of the political line in America. Joe Walsh is a former Republican congressman who's now a Democrat and a pretty outspoken critic of the president. Joe, welcome back to the program.
Always good to be with you, my friend.
And good to hear your voice. Now, you've never held back, as we've always heard when we're discussing President Trump. I mean, you said that he's an extremist. You've said he's a fascist. What are your thoughts on the sight of President Trump getting the red carpet rolled out in total style? The carriages, the guards, the bands that fly past them, the banquet. It's unlike anything we've seen here at Windsor Castle. What are your thoughts on it?
No, and I guess I get it. Yeah, I think the leader of the free world, the president of the United States, is in fact a fascist. And by the way, my friend, is in fact on Putin's side in the great struggle in Europe right now between the free world and Putin. So why are they laying out the red carpet for him there? You know what? A lot of leaders in Europe believe they got to get down on their knees and just beg and compliment and stroke this man's brow just to make sure he doesn't say a bunch of horrible stuff.
What do you say, Joe, to those who say, just by describing President Trump as a fascist, they call that hate speech on the Republican, the MAGA side of the aisle? They say that is hate speech. It could lead to violence. And I say that while noting that President Trump has, in any number of occasions in the past, used the fascist description to describe critics on the Democrat side. But what do you say about the way the rhetoric has been going?
Look, the rhetoric has been ratcheting up for a while. I love our free speech in this country. Hate speech, thank God, is protected speech. I think it's really important to identify what the problem is. If I believe Donald Trump is a fascist, and I do, I think it's really important to say that. But that doesn't mean that I'm responsible for some crazy guy out there then who goes after Trump in the same way that Donald Trump, who called Kamala Harris the fascist and says Democrats are the enemy from within. Well, Trump's then not responsible if some crazy dude on the left goes and tries to harm or kill Democrats. We've got to separate in this country speech and violent actions. A 22-year-old young man from Utah horribly assassinated Charlie Kirk. He did that.
Well, indeed. Now, look, Fred, I was just talking a moment ago to Fred Flights. He's a supporter of the president, and I was putting to him what we've been seeing, all of us have been seeing in recent days, and certainly since the assassination of Charlie Kirk, which is some of those around the president talking about taking on and taking down those who've been using the language that they dislike so much, talking about acting against hate speech. Now, Fred Flights thinks, in a sense, this is people talking in anger, that there will be no action, there will be no legislation inhibiting free speech in that way, closing down organizations. What is your view?
And I listened to that. What a terribly weak answer that was. We're talking about the president of the United States and the vice president of the United States accusing half the country of killing Charlie Kirk. And this is just, oh, don't worry about it. That's just Trump being Trump. Look, this is really important. The Attorney General of the United States yesterday, she's the top law enforcement officer in the country. She was asked directly who killed Charlie Kirk. And she answered twice. She said left-wing radicals did. Well, excuse me, if left-wing radicals killed Charlie Kirk, then charge all the left-wing radicals and make all the left-wing radicals face trial. But yesterday, one person was charged and will go on trial. It's no accident what Trump and Vance and all the right is doing right now. They are trying to divide this country. Anybody who says they did it, these are people trying to divide the country even further.
Right. I mean, the division of the people of America is clear for everyone to see. But I wonder, do you fear the administration may act against dissident groups? I have noticed, and you quoted there Pam Bondi, the Attorney General of the United States. I've noticed that some conservatives on the right, like Ted Cruz from Texas, seem to be critical of confusing critical speech, hate speech, with dangerous speech. So do you fear some sort of material, actual comeback?
It's happening. It's happening. Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, said that any immigrant criticizing Charlie Kirk, their visas will be taken back. They will be removed from this country. We've got the Vice President of the United States yesterday or 2 days ago telling American citizens to contact the employers of everyone who criticizes Charlie Kirk. Look, you know how I feel about Trump. He's an idiot. He doesn't understand free speech. But the people around him are using the powers of government to try to silence their political opponents. This is really scary, un-American stuff, and it needs to be called out.
And you are doing it, and not for the first time. As far as the visit to this country, the state visit of the president to the United Kingdom, if you were advising the British government, is there anything you would like to see them doing that they are not doing? It is, of course, a delicate matter.
Delicates, I've never been good with the word delicate. If I were the leader of your country, if I were the leader of any European country, look, what I've been saying ever since Donald Trump was sworn in, hang on and ignore Donald Trump. For the next 3.5 years, America is not on the side of the free world. I mean, we're seeing that most vividly play out when it comes to Putin versus Ukraine. So don't suck up to him. Don't coddle him. Don't get down on your knees in front of him. He's a bully and a coward. Either go after Trump or just utterly ignore him and try to hang on for 3.5 years defending NATO, Ukraine, and the free world.
Yeah, I do know that at the beginning of our conversation, you did, I think, recognise that ignoring the president is not an option. You do have to engage. However, Joe, I'll leave it there for the time being and hope to talk to you again soon. Joe Walsh.
Thank you.